But when you're rattled to the point where these damn helicopters have rattled us, you guys got to make some changes. I can't speak for everybody. I can't hold everybody's temper down.
Okay.
You guys make the changes now, yesterday. Thank you.
Thank you, Joyce.
This meeting, a long time coming, a lot of frustration in the community.
Have the flights start at a reasonable time, because 6 o'clock in the morning is not a reasonable time for most people.
The recurring theme was the extreme stress caused by the non-stop noise.
And it's always money. This is the whole thing. It's money.
Which has gotten much worse since the eruption started. As you know, not whatever level the helicopters were at before, they're at a much higher level now, and impacting a slightly different group of people.
Certainly the flight paths changed with the volcanic activity, because a majority of the people that travel here, they want to see a volcano, and so they come to the Big Island, go to the national park. The national park is closed, so they end up flying is about the only way to see the volcano. So more overflights, but there's still about the same number of helicopters.
I counted starting at 6:30 in the morning was the first one that day, and I got up to 100 helicopters by 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and the average of about 10 an hour.
Well, the first thing was the officials from Department of Transportation and FAA explained that they're convening what they call a roundtable, and I think they described 4 groups that will be at the table. I'm assuming 2 of those are citizens groups and 2 of those are regulatory agencies.
Select 2 people. Please send those names into DOT, and DOT is going to make sure they're going to distribute both to FAA and HHA. And then what will happen after that is the committee will convene itself. And then they're going to then consider all the comments that were presented and come back out to the community. So keep on checking DOT's website and submit your comments and submit any names that you may have.
I have a suggestion that more community members equal to the number of the HDOT, FAA, and HHA numbers of people on the committee should be accepted.
The point of getting someone from the local community on that committee is, yes, somebody who, High Cop already has all that information. It's available right now. And get High Cop on that committee. Second that?
It seemed pretty clear that High Cop, the most active noise protesting group, was not invited to the table from the comments I heard. You know, I think that's a mistake. You really can't satisfy a diverse array of interests without having the people who are really concerned at the table. High Cop, by the way, I mean, they're a little radical, but they've brought the industry to the table like no one else has before.
So I want to acknowledge the people that are in High Cop for the relentless work that they've done. The pay is absolutely horrible. But, you know, we put out signs, we passed out hundreds of flyers to make sure that we could get a good turnout. We've got a great turnout. It's unfortunate that our sponsors keep doing this in the middle of the weekday when half of the people that are affected can't even make it here. So,
also reminding people about the Plain Noise website where they want people to register complaints.
The Helicopter Association joined together to make the noise hotline so that we can actually gather the data and be able to really look through it and figure out ways that we could go. Because every time we alter one way to the other way, somebody else is going to be affected.
The website that I've tried to go on, Plain Noise, has a site for one noise incident. I would like to submit to you all the noise incidents, 4 helicopters a minute between 7 o'clock in the morning and 7:30. 4 helicopters a minute. And then a sum of 30 to 60 a day. When I type that into that site, it doesn't accept all of these. I have to put it down in the notes.
So what we heard described as helicopters every 5 minutes or 10 per hour, and the great effect it has on people's peace of mind, people's ability to have a normal life, on people's animals, livestock, wildlife. People talked about how they hadn't seen the hawks or the owl that they used to see since these new routes started.
when we try to talk to each other on the phone, it gets really difficult when a helicopter comes by. My mom asks me, "What's that noise?" And I have to explain to her, "Look, I need to call you back because this is going to go on for a few minutes." And this doesn't happen just once
a day or twice a day. And I'm getting to the point now where I'm just really frustrated that I chose to live in the area I do. And why should I feel that way? It is immoral, and it is totally unfair.
The FAA needs to step into the 21st century and do your medical homework. Noise pollution can kill you, slowly or quickly, depending on the amount, the vibration, and the duration.
And we've heard from people from Volcano to Hakalau. They're all saying the same damn thing. And we're all getting the same shibai back. I'm not sure we need another meeting, another select group, another shibai report. I think we need to take action now.
I probably feel for my people that were there, but I wanted them to know what we're up against in the community. We'd never set out to intentionally bother anybody. We don't intentionally go out to ruin their life or anything else. We fly higher than the regulations require, and even out there in where the TFR is at 3,000 feet, we're a minimum of 2,300 feet above any houses or anything. So, and we actually fly higher than required. So we know we make noise. We're not denying that. We need to figure out how we can mitigate some of the noise to get along with everybody. So we've donated time, gotten people out to their houses. One lady was just beside herself trying to get out to her house in Kapoho before the lava actually took her house to get all she wanted was a suitcase full of items from her family heirlooms, and we were finally able to get into the TFR, get her out, and I think a couple hours later her house was taken there in Kapoho. So that kind of thing. We've done some animal rescue. I think we got another one maybe planned for Thursday to go rescue cats that are stuck in these kipukas out there. All those things take money, time, and a helicopter, none of which we would have if we didn't run some tours and support that business. I think the government's, their hands are kind of tied. So the National Guard, they couldn't really do some things. They were there to provide emergency evacuation, emergency medical services, and that kind of thing, and keep us all safe. But yes, the private industry ends up being the ones that we can fly people out to pick up cats and dogs, and we've got sheep and cows and some dogs, rescue some dogs. So it's very fun. It's a part of the community. It's being able to give back to the community. I think the information and documenting the lava itself is very important. It's a worldwide event. It's not just Hawaii's. I think it's something we got to share with the entire world. It's such an awesome natural phenomenon that we need to share that, and we've been doing that daily overflights at first, and usually early morning or late afternoon, and that's part of the complaints that were there. But early mornings when you can get the good video and you can document things. We shared those videos and pictures with some of the relief centers so that people could actually see where the lava was, where their house was, if their house was still standing. Yeah. And we tried to share as much as we could, and I think the Mick Kalber with Tropical Visions and Bruce Amore with Extreme Exposure, they did a great job just trying to put it out, Facebook and all the other sites that we could put it on, and we have our own Hawaii Lava Update that we try to keep everything up to date, so you actually could go there and see what was happening. Some people they want to know, so they're asking us for their video. Did you get a video of my house? Did you get a video of this? We offered a lot of free flights for the Leilani residents so they could see what was happening because there's no way to see it on the ground.
So with that, I really want to thank all of you for being here.
I was told there'd be a chance for legislators to talk at the beginning. We did not get that chance. I also signed up to speak just to have my 2 minutes. I did not get that chance either. I don't think that was intentional. It was just a mistake on the organizers' part. They did invite Mayor Kim to get up and speak, and I think he spoke very well.
There's two people in this room that I was looking at. One is Pat, president of the Kilcar Community Association, and the other is you. They're both from here. I appreciate what you said. To you people of authority, the Hawaiians in Kilcar for decades have been begging, pleading, even crying of planes flying over the schools in the community. And we did nothing. I think the only recommendation we made was close your windows. And that's not a lie. My appeal to you is this. When you're a mayor, you have to play fair. You have to make sure you do not incite And I think I told you anger is growing. I ask of you to know this. Quiet is a lifestyle, precious resource here. I understand every one of the anger here, because 20 years of my life I never saw electricity, running water, or anything except an occasional car down the road miles away. I ask you to understand that I ask these people in quiet, please curb your anger, although I understand it. I ask of you to please don't let people wait like we let the people of Kilcar over 40 years, and all the children that suffered because of our inaction. The anger is real. Their lifestyle has been infringed upon. They know it's getting worse, and we ask of you, please help them out.
Hello, everybody. My name is Hans Mortensen. I'm a resident of the Kilcar Community Association. We live on the Department of Hawaiian Homelands. I thank Mayor Kim for talking in behalf of our community. Prince Kohio, as a condition to statehood, made the Department of Hawaiian Homes Commission and the act that is designed to take care and rehabilitate the Hawaiian people. The airport has, or our community of Kilcar has paid the price for a lot of the other communities to enjoy the benefits that they enjoy in the harbors, the airports, the fuel stations, and everything that surrounds Kilcar. I would like to also say that as you folks are sharing your testimony, the secretary's been taking notes, is that this is what we've been living with for a long time, for almost 100 years now. The Kilcar community is approaching, and we had parts of our community relocated so that the Hilo Airport could benefit. So when we're talking about noise, we're talking about other negative effects. We've been living with it for a long time. I hope that we can, someone from the Kilcar community, have a seat at this round table so that we can be able to continue to share, and we've been fighting and doing it for a long time. But I would speak to the Department of Transportation and the FAA to do more than what you're doing. Make the efforts that you guys need to do, the business owners, for commerce and for economics, and all of these things is all part of makes the world go around. But you guys have to think about the people who are affected and who's really affected, like how we are in Kilcar. Mahalo.
And it is getting to the point where you think about, I could hit that with a 357 almost, you know. It's that kind of thing that you just starts getting to you.
The gentleman who spoke about somebody finally losing it and shooting one out of the air was one of my neighbors who actually did that before I moved here. I've been here 9.5 years. His logic was, if you're low enough, I can hit you with a shotgun. You shouldn't be that low. Unfortunately, the FAA and the federal government, whoever, came and took him away, and he has not been back since. But the fact that those are that irritating is true. It is definitely true.
You guys got to change this, because if you don't change it, I try my best to be pacifistic. I do my best. But I was thinking of shooting them down. Because I don't own a gun, and I will never own a gun, and I don't shoot guns.
A lot of passion from a lot of people, and we recognize that, and we want to make sure that we can do something about it. But the passion kind of it went beyond, and it's a little bit hard. I'm not sure how the impact is for our company when people are threatening. So that's kind of speaks on how things get out of hand too quickly.
I'm one of those Vietnam era veterans. One of the things that we were trained in advanced combat in my day in the 70s, in the early 70s, middle 70s, when I was in the Army for 6 years, right? We studied the North Vietnamese field manual. We called it Uncle Ho's Little Yellow Book. And it had all sorts of wonderful ways how to destroy helicopters in the air and on the ground. You people are stupid. You're aggravating a bunch of people. And you know, we have a saying in Puna, don't aggravate the crazy people. Just don't do it. You know? We're known as punatics. We're peaceful until you finally push us to a point. You're taking your lives in your hands. Do you understand that? If I had my Marlin 170 with a 12 power scope,
Greg?
I could actually take your eyes out at 1,000 meters.
All right.
Is that what you want me to do?
Greg, I really
Now.
would ask you just, you know.
No, I'll summarize this.
Thank you.
You stop it. Now. I just come out of surgery for cancer. I'm trying to heal myself. I have 4 or 5 helicopters every 15 minutes circling my house. I'm 2 miles from Fisher 8. You have no business, you people, flying over my house.
All right, Greg.
You have no business coming within 3 miles of my house east of Fisher 8.
All right, Greg.
You stay away.
Thank you, Greg.
Stay away.
It's been my suggestion for quite a long time that we could have altitude meters and noise meters placed in the community at some responsible people's house so we could stop arguing about what altitude that helicopter was at. They always say, oh no, it wasn't as low as you said it was. Well, that would be so easy to address, and they haven't been willing to do that. My other big suggestion is that the Department of Health, whose job is regulating noise, could begin to do their job, because FAA doesn't regulate noise. Department of Transportation doesn't regulate once they leave the airport. Department of Health is supposed to regulate noise, but have chosen to not do so. So they're one state agency that could come to the table. And one other thing we heard is that there are other places in our country, for example, Long Island and Crater Lake, Oregon, where they have instructed the helicopters to fly away from populated areas. The FAA made that instruction.
Do something, and do something now. Rescind all the permissions you have, and then reissue them to the same people with restrictions to fly offshore and to avoid residential areas. Do it now.
This is what the congressional delegation from New York directed the FAA to do. All these blue lines you see here are helicopters flying offshore. The rule requires, it's called 14 CFR Part 93. You can read it in entirety on highcop.org. It's the New York rule. And the congressional delegation met with the FAA and said you can no longer fly over Long Island. That is prohibited. You must fly 1 mile offshore, 2,500 feet. And if you don't do that, we're going to take your certificate away from you and you will not fly again. This is the best rule the FAA has ever written. It's 39 pages of a wonderful regulation. As I said, you can read it on highcop.org. And this is what needs to be implemented on this island yesterday.
And we need to have an offshore route that is called for in the FAA guidelines to become actual rules that will benefit all parties concerned.
It's not really feasible in Hawaii because of the ocean conditions. The single engine versus twin engine, that was set up for people just transiting in areas. Nobody's trying to look out windows or anything else. This is actually an air tour of the land. No, we don't. You can't really see into individual houses, but you do see the landscape. So there's a myriad of factors there, and it's not just the 10 minutes extra it would take. It's at some point you price yourself out of any type of work. And we have 120 employees and their families that we're trying to take care of too. We all live in the community. The money stays here on the island other than the things we buy from the mainland like everybody else. So that narrative is not true either. We don't make piles of money and it all goes to mainland.
So the 10 minutes and the extra fuel it costs, you're going to avoid a huge Cloud Jackson lawsuit that you guys know is going to be coming if you don't do something soon. And that lawsuit's going to be big money. You think you're saving money now? No.
I'm not advocating for a change of route. I'm advocating for a limit of the number of overflights that are allowed over this island in both communities and also over the wild areas.
The other one, we head for the airports division because they permit every tour helicopter on Hawaii Island. And that permit, a prerequisite of that permit must be that they fly with Aloha, which of course we know they don't do now. What does fly with Aloha mean? Fly with Aloha means the noise footprint from a tour helicopter can never enter residential properties. That means you will never hear a tour helicopter again at your home. So we've got the FAA rule, which needs to be implemented yesterday, and we have the Airports Division permit rule that also needs to be implemented.
Because anytime you make one change, you're going to affect somebody else. So you heard today, some people said you can't fly over green areas, and some people say you can't fly over houses. And it's actually, there's houses in the way and there's green areas in the way. We can't just fly over the ocean. It's not really the safe place to be. So there has to be some give and take, and that's what we hope that the roundtable will do. We can get some give and take, and it is, we are here, we've been here flying. There's one operator here in 1960 eruption. So there's been a history of helicopters here in the Puna district since 1960.